What's up, everybody? Welcome to PSI Love You XOXO episode 41. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the new face of video games, Blessing. Adioye, Julian.
What's up, Greg?
There's a lot of Blessing, and I don't know where to start. So number one, you're wearing the Halloween jacket that I said I would wear this week on Games Daily because I had forgotten to wear it so far and then never made it to the office this week. And so the question immediately becomes, because I can't tell if it's very big on you or if it's the right size because you look like you've tailored it. Is this the jacket from the office? And if it's the jacket from the office, did you run over there during Games Daily today to get it when I said I couldn't have it?
Absolutely not. This is my own. No, it fits me perfectly. This is one that my friends at Spirit Halloween sent me because they heard that I was a very, very big fan of Halloween. They were like, "Oh, we heard that you know all about the Halloween colors. We heard that this is your favorite holiday of the year, and so we want to send you some goodies." And so they went ahead and sent me. They went ahead and sent me the jacket, sent me the pants.
Oh, you're wearing the pants too? Wow.
Yeah, I'm wearing the pants too.
From what I understand of the PS I Love You XOXO hosts, Blessing is the one who really, really loves Halloween.
Yeah, no, that's why I got the Halloween colors in my lights in the background.
Yeah. See,
of course, purple, not a Halloween color, but of course you can't have like a black light, and so I'm going for the orange and purple just to celebrate. You know, love Halloween.
I don't think they sent it to you. I don't think Spirit Halloween hit you up and sent you this. Yeah,
no, I mean, how else do you explain this?
You went to Spirit Halloween and bought it.
Why would I go to Spirit Halloween and buy a suit?
Why would Spirit Halloween send you things and not me? They know I'm the bigger Halloween fan.
That's not how I've heard it.
I don't know if you're the bigger Halloween fan. Like Greg, I mean, what are the Halloween colors? Do you even know?
You're orange and black. You're the one who didn't know it's orange and black. You were the one saying purple and green or something. You didn't even know orange was one of them.
I'm surprised you knew that they were orange and black because usually when I ask people that question, most people don't really even know. But yeah, it's orange and black. I'm shocked that you got it right. Yeah, orange and black.
What in your background is even Halloween-y, Greg?
Yeah,
and, like you're not even wearing like a Halloween thing right now.
There's the spiders there, the ghosts there. This light changes color.
I barely see anything.
There's pumpkins over there. Look at this. This is trick or treat right there.
The lights.
There's ghosts here,
meaning that he's living in a spooky place because the lights are off. In his living room behind him. I love Halloween. I can't wait. I can't. The thing that's a bummer is that this month means so much to me because it's both Donktober and October, and I love both things equally. Like I love Donkey Kong, but I also love Halloween and spookiness and scariness and the ghosts and the goblins and all of it. Oh, you got like a pumpkin cup. That's actually shocking to me.
All right, Blessing. All right, Blessing.
I didn't realize you loved Halloween this much. Or is it just fall? Do you just like fall? Is that
I like Halloween? I like Halloween. I mean, I like fall
Halloween.
Too. Yeah.
Wow. That's a weird.
I know the suit. I know the suit is expensive. It was like $50. So I don't think for a joke you would do this. That's the piece that's missing from this puzzle. Is how you came into possession of this suit.
I'm telling you, Spirit Halloween. They heard about how much I love Halloween, and they were like, "All right, let's do something about this. Let's get you some Halloween."
Can you introduce me to your Spirit Halloween contact? Because I would like some free things from there.
It was literally at Spirit Halloween on Twitter. They hit me up, DM'd me, and they're like, "We know how much you love Halloween. We know how much you love to celebrate this holiday. We know how much you love to go door to door, tricking and treating and
it's trick or treat. It's trick or treat.
I mean, you're doing both. Depends. Like if they don't have the treats, then I'm tricking.
Because
you know,
did they follow you?
I don't know if they follow me.
They just DM'd you, you think?
Yeah, my DMs are open, which I shouldn't say on a show, but they are.
At Blessing Junior lying.
No, they don't follow me.
Well, now you're in trouble because now I've tweeted a Spirit Halloween publicly. And we'll see. I just said, is Blessing Junior lying?
I wish I had a name because I don't have a name of the person who DM'd me from the Spirit Halloween account. It has the check mark in it and everything at Spirit Halloween on Twitter. They hit me up. I can read you their message verbatim. They said, "Hello, we heard you like our spooky pumpkin suit and wanted to send you one of your own." Then they asked me for my address and all that stuff. But of course, you know, they're the homie. Shout out to Spirit Halloween. Halloween, my favorite holiday. I'm glad they took notice. I'm glad that they sent me this suit. I'm glad that I can celebrate orange and black, two of my favorite colors. I should put out there too. I love the colors orange and black.
In my head, I planned on opening the show talking about your new teeth, the fact this is your first show back, and how because of that we didn't want to stress you out and do too much. Hold on, the doorbell just rang.
Yeah, that actually shocked me. I didn't realize you even had a doorbell.
Oh yeah, we got a doorbell. We're big time doorbell people
That's
over
awesome.
here. But now you've befuddled me and confused me with this Halloween stuff because I don't understand how Spirit Halloween would reach out to you first. That's what doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, why would they reach out to you?
Why? Because I don't know. You didn't know the Halloween colors. We said, what are the Halloween colors? You didn't know the Halloween colors, and now Spirit Halloween's hitting you up because they've heard you like Halloween. It just doesn't check. Something doesn't pass the smell test here.
I don't recall me not knowing the Halloween colors. You gotta timestamp that for me. I gotta go back and listen to that. I don't recall this. It'd be real hilarious if that was like Spirit Halloween at the door being like, hey, by the way, like we're dropping off your thing.
Well, yeah, it's just there's just multiple things happening at once, making me very, very off guard here. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like a new person. You know what I mean? Like last week happened, you mentioned my tooth, and yeah, I to be for the record, I didn't get new teeth. I basically got one.
Yeah, let me see them. Let me see your teeth.
I don't know if I should show it now. It's not fully healed yet, and so it's kind of nasty in there.
But like, let me see just the front two.
The front.
They look the same. They look the same. You said you were getting new teeth.
My wisdom teeth are the ones that, or is the one that got removed. I was supposed to get multiple removed. It's a long story. It's a long, terrible, painful story about how I had a toothache like a week and a half ago. Was like, oh, this will go away. Didn't go away. Was like, all right, I should go to a dentist. Got Kevin's dentist. Kevin's dentist couldn't see me for like weeks out. Ended up scheduling an earlier dentist. Went to that dentist, and this is like Monday last week. Went to that dentist, and they're like, oh, I see the problem. You got to get your wisdom teeth out. Let's get two of them out, your top and bottom left ones. Went there. They tried, couldn't do it for about 4 hours, which is fun. Came back home. They're like, we'll see you next week. We gotta keep chopping at that thing. Was sure. Like, guy got home, was like, no, I'm not going back there. I'm going to an oral surgeon. I'm not dealing with dentists anymore. Went to, actually did hit up Kevin and Paula. They got me their oral surgeon. Went there, and he was able to get the job done. He was like, oh, you don't need to get both of them done. Just do one of them for now. We'll come back to the second one later on. Just get one of them done. Got that one broken off, which is great. And now
broke off? What does that even mean?
So apparently I got some big old teeth, which is news to me. But basically when that happens, if your wisdom teeth are too close to like a certain nerve or something, if they take out the whole thing, it might damage the nerve and make it so that you don't have feeling in like your bottom, like your lip and like your chin area.
Yeah, that was a thing for me as well when they I got knocked out from mine, and they're like, we're still going to go through with it, but there's like a 50-50 chance for you that you'll wake up and you'll never have a feeling in part of your mouth again. I was like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Like a superhero. And
so basically the way they do it is they break off like some of the root of the tooth can stay in there with no problem, but they break off part of it. And let me tell you that's not the worst of it. The first dentist that I went to, that's not the oral surgeon, when he was having trouble trying to get my teeth out. And this is the thing that's standard. This isn't like he was fucking up kind of thing. But basically, in order to try and get the tooth out, they break it up, like while it's still in your mouth. They break it while it's still in there. And like for me, I wasn't put under. I was
why didn't you go under?
I don't know. He just didn't present it as an option. So I was like, oh, maybe this is just the default things that they do while you're awake. And I was like, all right, well, I'm already here. Spider-Verse is on TV.
Sure, fair.
And I was like, I was already like probably 20 minutes in. And I was like, I'll just watch the rest of this while I'm here. But yeah, no, dude was breaking my tooth while it was still in my mouth. And I heard that whole thing going down, and legit horror, like some straight up spooky Halloween orange and black type horror going on. But I say all that to say that right now I am a new man. I love Halloween, my favorite holiday of the year.
That's fine. I don't mind you coming out of this near-death experience with your wisdom tooth, understanding the glory that is Halloween. I'm just not sure where the lies and the truth, meet for you, where this all happened.
That's what the holiday is all about, man.
I mean, here's the thing. Just don't be a coward. Screenshot me your conversation with Spirit Halloween and text it to me and or Slack it to me. All right.
I'll Slack it to you. Yeah.
All right. Fun. Anyways, like I was saying at the front, we said, this is your first show back with your new teeth. And the whole thing was we didn't want to push you too hard, so we won't do as long a show. So I'm glad we spent 10 minutes arguing about this damn Halloween suit. You understand?
You know what? Right now, I'm feeling good enough that I think I could go the whole time. Like if we did a 2-hour show, I think I could make it. Because right now, we're 15 minutes in. I've been talking nonstop. I feel no pain. These
don't wanna
painkillers.
I
are
want
incredible.
Oh,
at an
Jesus
hour
God.
in. At an hour in, I'm gonna do a pain checkup on Blessing. How about that?
But no, it does. He won't even know. We're sticking to the plan. We said an hour 15 and then 15 for post show for you because I don't want to
Okay.
push you too hard here. All right. I don't need you. I need you the rest of the week because we've got a big week, but we'll get into that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is PSI Love You XOXO, your weekly PlayStation podcast. Each and every Tuesday morning, Blessing and I come together to talk about all the nerdy stuff happening in the PlayStation community. And you come and join us because you love that because you're nerdy PlayStation nerds, aren't you, dorks? If you want to be serious about the show, you can go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Over there, you can, of course, be part of the show with your questions, your comments, your concerns, your PSN profiles, and so much more. But you could also get the show ad-free. You can get it with that post show we do, and you could watch it live, just like Alicia is, Madeline is, the Lou is, Nicole is, Game Jumper X is. A whole bunch of people watching live right now as we record it. Thank you, of course, for your support. Remember, though, they're watching on Monday. If you don't want to give us any bucks, you don't have to. You can get it at youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, roosterteeth.com, and podcast services around the globe each and every Tuesday, 6 a.m. Pacific time. Of course, it has ads. It has no post show. All that stuff was over there. Motherfucker. He actually had...
I'm telling you, man.
Who
Spirit Halloween
tagged
knows
you? We
what's
do
up.
a conversation with Spirit. How did you get on Spirit's radar?
I think they might watch Kind of Funny Games. Daily or
Lifelong
something.
dream for me to be talking to Spirit Halloween. And here you are, just yakking it up with them.
Wait, did you buy your suit? Where'd you get yours?
Yeah, I bought my suit at a Spirit
bought
Halloween
your
store
suit?
last year. Yeah, well, first off, technically Kind of Funny did. But yeah, I bought the suit.
You bought the suit?
First
Wow.
time I'm ever hearing that this is a
Couldn't be me.
lifelong dream, though, Greg.
I can't believe you bought your suit with money when Spirit Halloween. They might just understand that I like out of the people in the office, out of the how many of us? 10 of us?
No,
It
there's
is.
9, 12,
We're doing an October Halloween ranking as far as people who are fans of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Blessing, number 1.
Yes.
Greg
absolutely.
Miller, lucky to be in the top 5.
I would say probably like I would say like
lucky to be in the top 5. Oh, you are a little piece of shit, and I've never seen it till right now. Mark the calendar. 10 months of employment. That's when I figured it out. This motherfucker, and he looks so much better in the suit than me. Housekeeping for you. Right now, you can catch my first impressions of Yakuza Like a Dragon up on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and podcast services around the globe. Just search for Kind of Funny First Impressions. If you didn't know, all of our first impressions we put up on YouTube go up as a podcast as well. And we really appreciate your subscription and listen over there. While we have you too, we're streaming Ghost of Tsushima Legends this Friday, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. It is me and Blessing making good on our promise to play this together and stream it, thus proving Andy Cortez knows nothing, right, Blessing?
Oh, exactly.
Now, are we both going to wear our Halloween jackets that day? That's the question.
Oh, I'm totally down.
All right, cool, because
Yeah,
we're the
let's
biggest
do it.
Halloween fans. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't know if I'd say that. I mean, I'm the
All
biggest
right.
Halloween fan.
Well,
I'm
if you're
such
the
a fan.
biggest-
I'm such a fan of Halloween in the spooky stuff. Let me tell you, right now I'm drinking out of an Undead Labs water
yeah,
bottle.
yeah.
Is it the
Whoa,
same
that's
water bottle
super
that I drink out of all
spooky.
year?
Whoa.
Yes, but still.
Well, yeah, it's the first party Xbox studio. Glad you brought that on over this PlayStation podcast. Be like our Patreon producers over on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. You can get your name read just like James Davis at James Davis Makes 248-835-3699. Jeffrey Long, Julian the gluten-free gamer, SanchoWest Gaming, James Hastings, and Tom Bock. Today we are brought to you by Upstart, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin the show with topic of the show. Now, Blessing,
Greg.
you have been on painkillers for roughly 3 weeks because of getting the new teeth. Are you aware that as we record this, it is October 12th. We are legitimately 1 month from the launch of the PlayStation 5.
It didn't hit me until earlier today. I was trying to plan things out for first impressions, and I was trying to basically look a month forward. And I was like, all right, this week we're covered because we got Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is up right now on youtube.com. So it's kind of funny games. All right, next week, maybe there'll be a preview. Who knows what might go down next week? Turns out not many games coming out next week, but we'll figure that out. And then once I got to like 3 weeks, 4 weeks down the line, that's when I started noticing that like, oh, that is next gen preview territory we're entering.
It's
like
happening,
we may or may not have, and I have no idea, but we could possibly have a PS5, by then, which is wild
For
to
the
me.
full disclosure, I do not know either. So I'm not even withholding that. Goddamn, I would love that. But also, how classic PlayStation is PlayStation going to play this? Are we going to get it 2 days before? Like, get a little bit of a heads up to it?
But is that possible? And
Yes.
but they got game reviews though. Like, how do we? They can't do like review events.
But I mean, it's this weird thing where they can get around it, right? Where you can send out, if you're really worried about reviews, you could send out the PS4 versions of all the games. Yeah, you don't get the bells and whistles, but you also don't get nobody leaking the PlayStation 5 and stuff.
Sure.
Like I don't agree with it. Don't get me wrong, but it's a fascinatingly weird year, as we've said over and over again. Because they always go back to when Scott and I went out for IGN for PlayStation 4's launch in November. When we went out for the PlayStation 4 launch in New York and did that hotel event. I forget that was how many days that was, but that was just days before we brought back the first PlayStation 4s to IGN, and so it's like that's how close they were playing it then. Now, granted, you had played a lot of those games at events at E3, whatever. You had touched you had touched a DualShock 4 by that point. You had seen the PlayStation run games natively. How you do that with a PlayStation 5 in a pandemic, I don't know. Personally, huge fan of how Microsoft's doing it. Here's the Xbox Series X, a month and a half early for influencers and press, and like, go ahead, test it out, talk about it, do whatever you want. There's rolling embargoes for it. I wish PlayStation was going to do that. Do I think they're going to? I don't know. I think they would have started doing that by now. And I think the fact that some of their games, or the majority of the games, get to go both ways, I don't know if you worry so much about that. If you do send out Miles Morales PS4 code and have people play it there and then inevitably be like, yeah, the game's great. Can't wait to see how it runs on a PlayStation 5. I don't know if you try to do, I still don't understand like how they're not doing, not an event, but like how they're not doing all right, cool, drive your, like, you do something local, I guess in local territories. So do something here in SF at HQ, do something in LA, and do something in New York, and have just what they do with the Japanese influencers, right? Of cool, you guys are booking, you can send one person in, you know what I mean? We'll stay away, everything's disinfected. You go to this little room or whatever it is, cardboard shack outside, play it there, then you leave, we disinfect it for 30 minutes, and then somebody else comes in for 30 minutes. Like, it's crazy to think we are a month away and we have not played a game with the DualSense. We have not held the DualSense. We have not seen the game. We have not seen the load times. We have not seen the UI. I guess we've seen the load times, but you know what I mean? With your own eyes off of a demo station. It's ridiculous. How do you play that? I don't know.
What would you do if you're in their shoes? Because the way I visualize it, like how we could have this month long ramp up to the PS5 is we basically do a thing where basically right about now we start hitting up influencers and start hitting up media and start hitting up folks for review and being like, all right, this is what this is going to look like. And about, let's say 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks before the PS5 launch, we're going to do like basically almost like a soft launch of the PS5 where it is, all right, media has it, influencers have it. You're able to talk about the hardware. And at that same time, you're also going to do like a big PlayStation blog post or a Wired post that is, here's detailing the UI, here's us controlling the message of what the PS5 experience is. That is building the hype for that last 2 weeks leading up to the PS5. That way you do have kind of the best of both worlds of controlling the message while also allowing media to review games and review the hardware and do all that stuff, because they can basically just give us the PS4 versions of all those games. Like the only game that I believe is not going to have a PS4 version of it is Demon Souls. And like, that's if they have to delay the review cycle of one game like until launch, then I don't think that's the end of the world for them. But at the same time, for a marketing beat, I feel like it'd be so much of a stronger move to have press be able to talk about, oh yeah, this is what Miles Morales is like on PS5. All right, this is what Astro's Playroom is like. This is what Bug Snacks and not Little Big Planet, Sackboy, Sackboy is like on PS5. Like that just feels like a way stronger marketing beat that almost feels like strange and counterintuitive not to do.
Yeah, I don't understand how they're doing it. And again, to your point, like, and I guess just the timetable of it. So I went and did a real quick stuff, right? So my photos here are from November 11th, 2013. Remember, the PlayStation came out in North America November 15th. So we brought in, that was me with it, right, in New York when we got our PlayStation 4s, and I flew back, you assume the 12th, maybe the 13th. I'm trying to see when this event ended through my photos, but I have the same million photos. Now here I am interviewing Shuhei on the 12th. So yeah, we probably came back on the 13th. So the first PlayStations came into IGN, the world's biggest video game website, 2 days before they came out everywhere. Like, again, different thing, different year, but we're also talking about a 2013 strategy versus a 2020 strategy. And so, Yeah, the way I would do it if I was in their shoes is not different from what you're saying in a lot of ways. I mean, or the Greg Miller way of doing it would be to like match Xbox into some extent and send this thing out with a tiered embargo structure of here's what you can talk about in wave 1, here's what you can talk about wave 2, here's how it goes. Games and content will be sent to you as they become available, yada, yada, yada. But in how traditional PlayStation is and how it's still, even though it's been an abnormal year, how traditionally they've played it, I would expect that we don't get these things until I mean, like, it's hard to even put a date on it because again, like, I think they're going to hold this as close as possible because again, I don't think they need it. I mean, like, what does PlayStation 5 need on launch day from an IGN, a GameSpot? Kind of funny. Like, it's in our own best interest to cover the shit out of the PlayStation 5 on that day. And it's not like they're going to move more units. So November 12th is going to be deafening for PlayStation 5, regardless of if the reviews for Miles Morales can post that day because they've been embargoed or whatever, how else is going to go. And then you get into this weird thing of, so does it behoove them in any way to give out code early? To give us Miles Morales code early, to give Bug Snacks early on a PlayStation 4, right? Like, there's other ways to play these games, but if you're trying to sell the PlayStation 5, how do you do it? And what kind of dominion does PlayStation have over their partners versus their first parties and where they want to go do with it?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, and this may lean more towards the exact point you're making, but I feel like there is some, like, as a third party, if I'm releasing, and I can't remember what day is Assassin's Creed Valhalla coming out? Because I know it comes out on PS5 also.
Yeah, comes out. I think it comes out on the 10th, right? So isn't it day and date with Xbox?
Yeah, it's day and date with Xbox, and then I think it's also day and date with PS5.
Well, no, I think it might be it. Well, it's the 10th for sure. Yeah, so it's day and date with Xbox, which means that
just the Watch Dogs Legions.
It's on.
Yeah, the Watch Dogs
shelf.
Legions thing is confusing me too because Legions isn't launching on PS5 until the PS5 version isn't coming out until a couple weeks after PS5 launches.
Is it? Really?
Yeah, there's something weird going on with Legions.
That's wild.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Then that explains our confusion, Barrett. Yeah, because it's day and date. Yeah.
Okay, but if I'm a Ubisoft and I'm putting out Assassin's Creed Valhalla, or if I'm a smaller developer, right? If I'm a Young Horses that's putting out Bug Snacks, or if I'm the folks that are putting out the Pathless, I feel like it'd be in their best interest. And again, we're talking about them versus Sony, and Sony obviously has all the cards in their hands, and they're the ones who are going to make the final decisions on this. But it is in those folks' best interest that the PS5 is out there and people are able to review those games on the PS5.
Oh, totally.
Because that is going to market those games in such a great way. Granted, like, there is also the Xbox Series X, and like, you know, that with those boxes out there, like, that's all going to happen. What's up, Greg?
PlayStation.com confirms that Watch Dogs Legion is a launch title for PlayStation 5 as well.
Okay.
So it'll be their day and date for that.
Interesting.
Back to you. Sorry.
But no, like, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, and like we're basically talking about pros and cons of it all right now. But I feel like, you know, to the question of, you know, why does PlayStation, to the point of PlayStation doesn't really need to do this on their end, I think that's like 100% correct. But I feel like every other factor in this, like every other party in this situation, whether we're talking about third-party developers or whether we're talking about media and influencers, all that stuff, everybody else benefits from that in a way that it feels somewhat selfish that PlayStation wouldn't put out those units to media and everybody else beforehand. Though I guess I get it if you do want to go about it that way and have it.
I think regardless of which PlayStation we talk about, right? Where I talk about, you know, what it was like to work on PS3 PlayStation, what it was like to be a fan of PlayStation 2 PlayStation, to see PlayStation 4 and their rise, right? The one narrative thread that I think unifies them all is that PlayStation loves being king shit. And I think, you know, we're talking about like it's beneficial to your partners, whether you're talking about your media partners who are going to review and play these games and talk about them, whether you're talking about your development partners who are making third party things. Yeah, I'm sure it's 100% beneficial that Bug Snacks again or any of the other third party games want us playing the game on PlayStation 5, right? Because they want to be part of that hotness. They I assume know how well PlayStation 5 clicks through for article headlines, or at least for us YouTube videos and podcasts, right? But again, PlayStation also wants it to be that on November 12th, it is all fucking PlayStation. And that again would happen regardless, but it would be a different thing if it's like Xbox is, where you're not going to see an Xbox Series X unboxing from IGN on the launch day of the Xbox. That'll have happened already. There's already been photos of everybody holding their thing, right? Like, you figure if there's all this other stuff, they want it to be this one moment in time rather than spread it out the way Xbox has done. I think they want it to be one moment in time of cool, here we go. And I hope I'm wrong. Like, I really do. Don't get me wrong. I hope, it's, for a lot of people are taking today as a holiday in America. I hope that when this posts that we get an email first thing Tuesday, and it's like, hey, everybody, let's talk about, we're a month in now. Let's talk about the PlayStation 5 launch, whether that means we're, sending sterilized units to your house on this day and this time or whatever, so you can play just even if it's just us playing Astro again and Sackboy or whatever. Even if it's just like there's 2 demos on this thing, try it out, feel the controller, go that way. Or if it is, hey, you're on the list to get a PlayStation 5 early review unit, so we're sending it to you, and here's the crazy embargoes that you need to hit on it and not talk about and sign away your life for. Like, all of that would be great and huge, and I would love to have it be that, whenever the embargo is lifted, even if it is November 12th, right, there is a, hey, guess what? Bam, here's all these reviews, all these impressions, all these feelings. We're ahead of the game, rather than it be, shit, we are waiting for ours to arrive from Amazon. Oh no, this one's been canceled. I have one coming from PlayStation. Is that going to be here on time? Like,
yeah,
it's that usual thing of, when you deal with something like this, a consumer electronic, you want to control mindshare and you want to have all eyes on you. And what's the easiest way to do that? Microsoft has been running away with that narrative now in the run up because it's out there. I was using it on Gamescast this week. Alana was doing tests with it on XCast this week. Like, there's already so much conversation out there about it, which is great and gets me super excited, right? We're talking about Watch Dogs Legion. Like, if they hit me up for a Watch Dogs Legion code and they're like, cool, you can get it on PlayStation 4, we can get your PlayStation 5 code later, or you can play it on Xbox Series X right now. Like, I platinum the shit out of Watch Dogs 2, but I would very much be like, oh, let's do it on Series X. Let's give that game. Like, there was this great moment, blessing, that probably wasn't, I don't know if it stood out to you, but when we got codes for The Last of Us, or we got hit up for codes for The Last of Us, I remember putting it into Slack to you and Tim about, hey, I think they're going to come soon or whatever. And you went, finally, some food. And I've always remembered that Slack message from you. And I think that is where we're at right now, where we are on this precipice of the next gen insanity. And like, we're into the fall game insanity already. That's already started. There's a million things. We're embargoed from 3 weeks out now on games we're already playing or have done with stuff, right? And so as that continues to go, the one thing, as cool as it is to use the Xbox Series X, it's like, awesome. I really can't wait to play a next gen game on it. Not something that's backwards compatible, not just a demo like Yakuza was. Like, what's the first game I'm going to play on one of these systems that is a full-blown next gen title? And that's rad for all of us to get to play stuff early. It'll be rad for the impressions. It'll be rad for the story and journey we all get to go on together. I wish I was having that journey with PlayStation. I wish that we were sitting here going like, man, wait till you guys see what the UI looks like. We don't even fucking know what the UI looks like still. And granted, I was talking about this on Games Daily. That is a time bomb to say on a podcast, because any moment now, the PlayStation vlog could easily upload, hey, here's a video of what the PlayStation UI looks like. But it's such a weird year, and I don't know how you handle this, and I don't know when we get it, and I want it bad.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. Also, there's that pumpkin cup again, man. I love it. The colors orange and black, I just love them so much, man. Like, they fill me with so much energy, so much excitement.
While you were out getting your teeth replaced, there was a whole bunch of PlayStation 5 news that happened. Bear, let me have the PlayStation 5 watch graphic.
PS5 watch.
Thank you, nailed it. So yeah, 1 month out, we tabulated them here. The big one while you were gone, Bless, that we haven't talked about because you couldn't talk because you had no teeth for a while. We finally have our answer to backwards compatibility. You put this one in. It is Adam Jessica over at Tech Radar, who writes, Sony has revealed further information on PS5 backwards compatibility via its PlayStation support website. According to the support page, an overwhelming majority of the 4,000 plus PlayStation 4 games are playable on the PS5 consoles, and select PS4 games will benefit from the PS5 console's game boost, which may make PS4 games run with higher or smoother frame rates. While Sony has stated the majority of PS4 games are playable on PS5, it's also provided a small list of games that are only playable on PS4 below. So these are the ones that are not backwards compatibility. It's a list of 10. DWVR, Afro Samurai 2, TT Isle of Man, Just Deal With It, Shadow Complex Remastered, Robinson The Journey, We Sing, Hitman Go Definitive Edition, Shadwin, and Joe's Diner. Blessing, you were pretty stoked to play Joe's Diner, right?
Oh, dude, I love Joe's Diner back in the day. I'm so sad it's not going to make its way to PS5.
It's apparently a heartbreaker. It's such a big one.
Real
Blessing,
quick, for one of these games that I actually did play was Robinson The Journey.
Yeah, that's a VR one. PSVR.
Yeah, that needs to just live on the PS4. That doesn't need to come to the PS5.
That one doesn't need. They don't need to jump
No,
through hoops.
that might be one of the worst VR games I've ever played.
It's hilarious to me that Shadow Complex is on here, because Shadow Complex was like, so touted as the Xbox 360 game, then to have it finally come over to PlayStation, and like it was after so much people wanted. They've always wanted Shadow Complex 2, and then of course it's the game that just can't make it over. Not that it matters, whatever, in the grand scheme of things, but interesting about it. On top of this, there were some other tidbits in there of like how you can transfer your digital games over. You can transfer digital games and save data from a PlayStation 4 console to a PlayStation 5 console using Wi-Fi data transfer. You can access PS4 games on a PlayStation 5 console directly from a PlayStation 5 external storage drive. You can use your PlayStation cloud save to get your PlayStation 4 saves to the cloud and then get them down over there. Blessing, when you came out of anesthesia and were able to look at all this stuff, were you surprised backwards compatibility is working as, at least on the page, the way we wanted it to?
I'm surprised that it's working like this well. I expected it to work after we had our back and forth very early in the year, right after that Mark Cerny talk, where it was like, all right, what does he mean that they tested 100 games and most of them seem to work? Does that mean we're only getting 100 games? What does that mean? After we kind of had that discussion and kind of realized what they meant by that, I had confidence that, all right, at some point most PS4 games are going to be playable on PS5, and that's pretty much all I want, is to be able to play most PS4 games on the PS5. Like, I understand if because of the SSD or if because of however boosting works that might break some games. I get that. I'm not going to complain about that. The fact that this is the list of games that they're presenting that don't work, and it's a list of games that, I look at this list of games, there's nothing here that I don't think there's anything here that I've actually played. I might have picked up Hitman Go, but like aside from that, actually I picked up Shadow Complex before. But like for the most part, none of these games are games that I necessarily, and I expect most people necessarily care about that deeply.
Sure.
So much so that they can't just go pick up a PS4 and play. That surprises me, that like the whole library virtually is playable.
Yeah,
and that's like
100%.
It's more so like a thank God kind of moment, because
totally
there was a chance that this wouldn't be the case.
Yeah, it's still alarming. There's whenever we talk about this, I feel especially for this generation transfer between PS4 PS5, I've been so pessimistic about it that them coming out and saying this, all spelling it out last week, actually writing it out, I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad to see you doing this. There's still the little things like reading off the PlayStation blog, right? Because again, I was talking about, if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you can sync your PS4 game saves to the PlayStation 5 through cloud storage. But then this one, like, please note that the ability to transfer game saves between a PS4 version and a PS5 version of the same game is a developer decision and will vary title by title for cross-generational games. It's still shit like that where you're like, why? Why wasn't that easier and or a mandate from you guys to be like, hey, oh, cool, you're going to do the cross-gen thing? Great. It has to work. Like, why is Yakuza getting around that? That doesn't make sense to me. And again, overall, the majority of games are doing it great. That's fantastic. I'm glad it's working the way we want it to work, but still. Now, speaking of all this, Blessing, I saw you tweet about this, and I caught it on the day. But then Andrea and I on Games Daily got so much into the backwards compatibility stuff, I moved on. This is from the PlayStation Q&A about all the PlayStation 5 questions answered, right? Also, the PS5 HD camera is not compatible with PSVR on the PS5. You'll need to use the PS camera for PlayStation 4 and the PS camera adapter, no purchase required, to use PlayStation VR on PlayStation 5. And I thought it, and you tweeted it, and it's the same thing. Then why the fuck did I pre-order this PlayStation 5 camera?
Yeah, like it doesn't. And I tweeted that, and most people responded like, "Oh, PSVR 2, like when they're gonna put out PSVR 2 on the
fuck
the
that. That's years from now.
Yeah, and I was like, one, that's years from now if it happens. Two, then sell the camera with the PSVR 2. Right now, there's no reason for me to have a PlayStation camera on the PS5. Like they've not detailed. I don't think they've detailed any functionality.
It'll be the same Twitch streaming stuff. You know what I mean? That'll be why it's there for live streaming, which is all well and good. But I mean, I'm just in the same boat as you where I pre-order. I'm like, oh, I just want to have it all ready to go for PlayStation VR. And so that's the thing here where they're like, oh, they've said this before. The PS camera adapter, no purchase required. It's going to be available, which you assume will be taking the proprietary, plug. Port, you put it in, and then it goes in USB into your PlayStation 5. That's all well and good, but Alec Bobko writes into patreon.com/kindoffunnygames and says, has there been any updates on how or when to get those PlayStation VR adapters for PS5? I know they're going to be free, but I don't recall hearing or seeing anything about them, and we're a month out from launch. You're 100% correct, Alec Bobko. As of 1 month out at 2:41 p.m. Pacific time, no, there's nothing. Like, I mean, I understand that PlayStation VR is such a small part of PlayStation's pie here and what their plans are in their future is and what their curtain is, right? But PlayStation VR has been adopted by the hardest core of hardcore PlayStation fans. Like, yeah, so I assume I have to file online to get this adapter. I assume it's not going to be like I get it tomorrow. It's going to take a while to get here. This is... I'm being, there's a lot of hyperbole you could say of like, this is a death sentence for PlayStation VR. That's not true, but it's definitely a death sentence for me playing any PlayStation VR for the foreseeable future, where it's like, I'm going to keep my PlayStation VR, of course, but I'm looking forward to disconnecting my PS4 and putting in my PS5. And so, no, I'm not going to then be like, oh, well, I really want to clean up that Platinum on Iron Man. Better dig out the PlayStation 4 and do this. No, there's a million other games to play in PlayStation 5, whether it is backwards compatibility, whether it is something brand new or an upgraded version of a game. It's a really weird choice that how can there not be, and I know that video games are complicated and I'm totally underplaying this, but how can the PlayStation... I'm playing a PlayStation VR game through backwards compatibility of the PlayStation 4. How could it have not been programmed in there to say, all right, cool, when you look for the PlayStation 4 camera, you can also look for the PlayStation 5 camera?
Yeah, this is such a small issue that just like, I feel like the way we're talking about it makes it seem like what in the world PlayStation, but it is like such a small issue, such a small issue that when you look at it, it's like, how did this happen? Like, why? How did this become the case that, yeah, like the PS4 camera can transition on, but you're gonna need the adapter. But then the PS5 camera doesn't work with PlayStation VR. You haven't really spoken about your plans for future VR. Like, there's such a weird, like, there's such weird messaging there, and like there's such a weird, I guess, turn of events there in terms of how these pieces of hardware are interacting with each other, that just doesn't line up and doesn't make sense, and makes it so that like I'm probably going to cancel my PS5 camera pre-order, because in that case, like, like, I'm not going to Twitch stream natively off the PS5. Like, I know a lot of people like doing that thing, and like, yeah, if you're that person, then yeah, this is for you. But aside from that, when am I going to use that thing then? Like, maybe there are games that are coming out that like you're able to market as, hey, yeah, this is what makes the PS5 camera great, and this is why, you know, certain games are gonna use it. Like, they've not talked about it in any sort of sense that makes me excited. I don't even think they've even talked about how the PS5 camera is better than the PS4 camera, as far as I understand.
I mean, they've put out the stats, but you know that I'm not well enough.
And like,
people in the chat who are watching live, who supported on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames.
Yeah.
Someone was saying that there's like background removal for the camera for PS5. Like, it is.
They have talked about that.
Like, right now, it is pretty much like just a camera for streaming for Twitch, but it does have like some better quality improvements for people who are looking to just stream off of their consoles. So there are little
that
upgrades.
Is cool.
Yeah.
And I guess that is cool. And I guess I'm more so speaking from my own, like, how I use the PlayStation camera nowadays, which I guess is primarily for
VR.
Yeah. And like, I guess for a streaming tool, then yeah, like do your thing. But I feel like they should be better about communicating, like, oh yeah, or at least like selling it or marketing it. Because I saw that thing when I went and pre-ordered the PlayStation 5 from the PlayStation Store or whatever, when I got my sneaker sale link thing that they sent me. You know, I clicked it and I saw all the products, and it's like, oh yeah, adding the PS5 to my cart. I'm gonna get the charging kit because that's gonna be useful. Oh, the PlayStation camera. Oh, you know what, man? VR. That is gonna be really useful for that. Added that in, and now I'm like, all right, I guess I can remove that now, because apparently that's just not gonna help me out, like, for anything I'm going to use it for in the near future.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just, and I guess that's the thing about it, where, especially coming off of, man, you nailed backwards compatibility. This thing that I thought would trip you up in some way and be more complicated than you were making it seem, you fucking crushed. Congratulations. 10 games. That's it. Wow. Huge. Then to move right into this being like, yeah, no, it doesn't work with VR. You're like, what? Like, wait, why? Like, you said when you said it was the PlayStation VR, was going to work on PlayStation 5, that it was backwards compatibility with that, it just made sense, right? That you were to be buying this. And so you're in this weird spot of, again, to where I've talked about it before. Like, I know you have the best intentions of making PlayStation VR 2, but are you really going to make PlayStation VR 2? Which then goes, why would I spend the money on this camera right now when I don't believe that you believe you're going to use it necessarily?
Yeah.
Well, now, another thing that happened in this PlayStation 5 watch is that they're scaling back the PlayStation Store. I'm reading from Haley Williams over at GameSpot. As we get closer to the release of Sony's next generation of consoles, the company is reportedly updating the PlayStation Store to push the PS3, PS Vita, and PSP a little further out of the limelight. According to a report on French website Planet Vita, the PlayStation storefronts on web and mobile will soon get rid of a number of product categories, including the other consoles. The leak shows a message sent by Sony Interactive Entertainment about the upcoming change, which Planet Vita acquired from a reliable source and IGN already verified with their sources. The biggest change is that PS3, PSP, and Vita games will no longer be able to be purchased from a mobile or web storefront. They will only be able to be purchased on the apps on the PS3 and Vita. Notably, the PSP store, of course, is already debunked, so you need to buy the PSP games from a PS3 or Vita as well. According to the message that they have here, it's going to go into effect on October 19th on the web, October 28th on the mobile app. It's included here in the watch because I feel like this, again, is PlayStation battening down the hatches and getting ready for the PlayStation 5 launch and what that's actually going to be. And having you turn on your PlayStation 5 or go to the PlayStation Store and have it be simple of, cool, here are the PlayStation 5 games, here are the PlayStation 4 games you can play backwards compatible. Enjoy. And I'm excited to see that, Bless.
No, this is one of those things where I get why it's happening, and it is like an exciting thing for, hey, let's move towards the future. Like, the PlayStation Vita, the PlayStation 3, and did they also say the PSP? Yeah. I didn't realize that was even an option on the web stores. But let's phase those out. Let's look to the future. I think that makes complete sense, and it's exciting in the idea that, hey, yeah, we're pushing on to the future. That said, there's like a small side of me that is sad that I won't be able to just buy it if the case pops up that I, for some reason, want to finally buy Persona 3 Portable on the Vita, that I can't just do it from the store and then click download and then have that automatically download to my Vita, which probably wouldn't work anyway because it's been off for so long that I'd probably
your Vita can still automatically download. Your Vita can still do it.
Yeah, but I'd have to turn it on though. Like right now, it's probably
you have to charge it.
Totally. But I understand why that sacrifice has to be made so that the store can be pushed forward. The one thing I want to point out, though, that I am now reading from the story that I didn't catch before, that kind of throws me off guard, is that they mentioned that the change will also remove the ability to buy apps, themes, and avatars through the mobile and web stores.
Sure. Which
I don't get. Like, why would you do that? I feel like that's just removing functionality for the sake of removing functionality.
Simplicity. The store's already a train wreck to look at and find anything on, and like you search for, man, I'm really looking for whatever game you're looking for. You get all these damn other crappy things nobody wants. That nobody wants, all these shitty avatars or these weird things, or these things that are even loosely tied to it. Like, I think truncating it and simplifying makes a lot of sense. Now, it's funny you bring that up because I'm going to bring in a question that doesn't sound like it applies, but it applies. Glady Flategraff writes in to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames and says, hey, Bless and Greg, with the PS5 looming oh so close, and really the only main thing left for us to see is the UI, we all pretty much have our expectations set. With that said, do you think that there is something extra, or no, I'm sorry, that there's something Sony can do that will get you even more excited than you already are? For me, it would be having something alongside the lines of Discord integration or something really crazy along those lines. Love the good work. Beyond Glady from Minnesota. Beyond Glady from Minnesota. I think what's interesting is you start to say, oh man, the themes and avatars won't be there or whatever. It really makes me wonder if they're retiring that and they're pushing away from that. And again, simplicity's sake, where it's like, listen, you turn on your PlayStation 5 and this is what your PlayStation 5 looks like. We're not doing the custom themes. Your UI is a unified thing, at least for launch. That's always something you could do later. But especially if you're trying to come out of the blocks and do something brand new and have this be like, we're talking about this moment. And especially, and I know this is short-sighted and it'll change and yada yada, but like, for as you love it or hate it, the look and size factor, but colors of the PlayStation 5, right? We always talk, it looks like a piece of futuristic tech. I think having it have a unified look UI wise for everybody who's using it, at least for the first year, while you might not like that, unifies what the PlayStation 5 is in branding and colors and all the stuff. Just the same way that today I learned what the Halloween colors are. You would all know what the PlayStation 5 colors are. Exactly.
Yeah.
Blue and white for this one, maybe a little bit of black in there. And the same thing with avatars, where the Facebook integration was so great at PlayStation 4 because suddenly we could have like your real photo be your avatar. And of course, even once they removed that, they then put into the app a way to immediately upload your own photo and have it be what we all take for granted with any social media site we use or comment section we use. I wonder with PlayStation 5 if they're trying to strip some of that away and make it be a very personal, custom, clean interface.
Like that. Like that's the thing I've been thinking about recently. Like as I've been thinking about next gen consoles in general is, man, we've been talking every day in this company about how we can't wait to see the UI of the PS5. And
Sure.
It really hit me like last night, as I've been like just on my PS4 and my Xbox One X, like thinking about next gen UIs and how that really cements what it's a part of what cements that next gen transition. The idea that now every day when I open up my console or when I boot up my console, I'm greeted with a new screen. I'm greeted with a new way to interact with my menus and whatnot. It feels like such a minuscule thing, but it really is going to define the next 7 years of me playing with this console. And the idea of them stripping back the stuff that doesn't work or that is bloated or that is unnecessary or that is archaic, thrown in there from, let's say, the PS3 generation, when we're still trying to figure out what this is, stripping that stuff back and then introducing new things. Like I like the idea of Glady in their question here mentions like Discord integration sounds like it'd be something awesome.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, like that type of thing I think could be really cool. And if they're able to redo the web store, redo the front page in a way where it's like, all right, this then opens the door for us to have more stuff like that, more stuff that is forward thinking, more stuff that is, hey, here's this app. And I don't know exactly what the their exact actions here, right? Like removing apps, themes, and avatars. I don't know how this exactly opens the door for this, but the idea of, all right, let's have a menu that is stuff like Discord, that is stuff like, I'm just throwing stuff in there, like a Zoom gaming thing, if Zoom gaming was a thing, right? Do
you know something we don't?
No, I wish I did. Which I'm surprised. I feel like that'd be a good avenue for Zoom, but I digress. Opening the door up for new and cool ideas and applications like that, I think could go such a long way. I think there was a tweet from Andy yesterday that I saw where he tweeted about the
it was this morning. I can pull it up because it is something that endlessly frustrates me every time I have to watch HBO Max.
I've been watching a lot of.
Oh yeah, I saw that last night from him. Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of The Boys this weekend. Great show. I'm absolutely in love with that show. I am finally now getting into it after years. I feel like I'm super late on it. But yeah, Andy tweeted out the whole TV menu that they have on the PlayStation, and it is so messy, and it is a thing that I've noticed that I'm not necessarily fixated on because I don't go into that menu that often. Here it is.
Yeah, Andy's showing it right now. Or Barrett's showing Andy's right now. Yeah, because if you remember, before they took and shoved all the apps into TV video, you could just have the app on your home screen.
Yes.
And it was like, how that's so much easier to go straight to the thing you want. Here, it's always such a bitch of loading this stuff up and getting into where you want to go.
Yeah, and I understand the idea of, all right, we're making a games console. Let's find a way to truncate these things so that you can go to a menu item and then watch TV from that menu item. But the way they've done it here is just messy and clunky, and there's so much visual language going on that it's just all over the place. If they're able to strip that back, with what they're doing here and try to have another go at it in a way that makes more sense, I think that's awesome.
Well, what's interesting about it is I wonder how these apps are going to work at launch and if they will. Like, what I mean? It seems like you're always waiting for, whether you're on Xbox or PlayStation, one of these apps to get there, right? Like I use the main reason I was turning on my Xbox One last month was to watch Shudder, because there isn't a Shudder app on the PlayStation 4 yet or on my TV. And so I do wonder if not they're ditching that by any stretch of the imagination, not that if they're going full Nintendo where they don't want you using those, but are the apps going to be backwards compatible? Is that something you're going to be going into? Like, are we getting around the screens Andy just showed of the slow loads and the constant scrolls by the fact that PlayStation should be running faster and doing things better? Like, are we stripping all this stuff away for the .com to get you to use it more, or are we stripping all of this away from the PlayStation 5 in general to make it a more mainstream device that it doesn't have all this fat on it? Like, Andy focuses on Pluto TV there or whatever, which I'm sure now that I've said their name and I'm about to say that, who the hell are they? They're going to be a sponsor in 2 weeks. But like, it's that idea of like, who do you care about that? Are they seeing returns on that? Or do they want to make it, hey, here's a machine that runs games incredibly quickly and you can watch other people play through live at PlayStation or just the Twitch app? And I also think, the thing we're talking about here is removing the mobile portal and moving from the mobile store and the app store, right? So that, or the .com, so that when you get in there, you're able to actually find what you want and go through and use it that way. Because even right now, I have my.playstation.com open, and like personally, as somebody who gets a lot of codes and goes and redeems through the PlayStation Store, it's not a headache, but it's always the get in there. All right, I want to redeem the code. All right, hold on, relog in, get my verification code, put that back in, redeem the code. Great. Now click on a separate list to go to my download list to actually download it to the system. Like, you have to imagine if they're trimming all this fat off of this stuff, it's so that when you go to PlayStation.com and you use the store, it's easy to get what you want and get it on your PlayStation 5 without any fuss and have it actually be a pleasant user experience. Because I think if you're there and you're already shopping on a million different things, and especially if you bought an all digital PlayStation 5, like, why wouldn't you want people buying as fast as possible, going as fast as possible? I think, well, actually, I can bring it in right now. The next story we want to talk about, of course, is the new PlayStation trophies. Another thing that's broke since the last time we did this, right? I'm reading from the PlayStation blog. New trophy levels. The first thing you'll notice is the big change to your trophy level. We're increasing the trophy level range from the current 1 to 100 to 1 to 999. So following this update, which is already live now, by the way, your trophy level will automatically be remapped to the new level within this range based on the trophies you've earned to date. Then, of course, there's a new calculation structure. We've implemented a new trophies level calculation system that is more optimized and rewarding. Players will progress quicker through the early levels, and levels will increase more consistently. Platinum trophies will count more towards level progression, making them even more valuable. And then new trophy level icons. With an expanded level range, we're also updating the trophy level icon on PlayStation 5, as well as the PlayStation app at a later date. Currently, the trophy icon is just a single gold star, but we're adding a few variants. And then for bronze, silver, gold, there's 3 different levels where the icon looks a little bit different before there's just a platinum level at 999. Again, this is something for PlayStation 5. Again, this is something that is, I think, changing the way we will all look at each other on PlayStation 5, which makes me go back to this whole idea of what the .com is, why they're stripping out maybe avatars and apps. Like, it seems like they're trying to make it very personal for you to be on here, and I wonder how that plays into the UI, and then what kind of fat or auxiliary apps you're having on there.
Yeah, I like this. I hope I hope it is to build the .com to be something that is a main way to interact with PlayStation. Like, I know it kind of is that right now. Most of the time I go on the PlayStation Store is through the website, like either on my desktop or on my phone, because I just find it easier that way. Like, if I want to buy a game, I feel like turning on my PlayStation.
It's way easier to search.
It's just way easier to search on my phone or on my computer, and then it's also easier to, if I have a code, like copy and paste it into the redeem thing. And so like there's so much ease of use there. I hope that I hope this builds towards something substantial and isn't just let's remove functionality, just remove functionality. That said, with the trophy system, that all sounds cool. I'm not a trophy person, and so I don't like. I read all this and I'm like, all right, I don't know if this matters. I don't know. Like, I don't get why you're going about this, aside from maybe making the numbers mean more, because I know this probably means that you have quicker leveling up, more numbers thrown at you, all that good stuff. But like, does this signal good change for you, the trophy leveling system?
StaleSavior writes into patreon.com/kindoffunnygames and says, hey, Greg and Bless, PSN is updating their trophy system to a point-based system. How do you guys feel about this? It's personally given me a huge drive to continue chasing platinums while I wait for the PS5. As somebody who is obsessed with trophies and does love getting them, I'm I'm not like over the moon about it or anything, but I think it's a good move for sure. I think the fact that you've given more things to strive for and broken it up makes me more interested. It makes me interested in a way I wasn't before for actually getting some more trophies and going for it and actually having that be more of a milestone. Because as you know, I think you've seen with us, like I stopped celebrating changing my level forever ago. Like it was like, whatever, you know what I mean? First off, it took forever and to level it up because I had gotten to that part in the curve where it was just, you had to grind to actually move the number. And then it is more like, 100 platinums, 125 platinums, something like that. Like, or what was it, my 10,000th trophy? Like those were more things that are changing. It wasn't like, oh my guys, stream, I'm hitting level 37 in trophies tonight. Like who the fuck cares, right? Whereas like for this, the way they've broken it up, I'm 515 right now. I don't have the PlayStation blog in front of me. Was there a link in this? No. So I forget what the change is. So like I'm still the first part of silver. No, I'm in the second part of silver. Hold on. Let's just go to the PlayStation blog. PlayStation blog. Trophies. It's the idea that I have another milestone to look out for and that I would be. So yeah, right now I'm in the final silver bracket. I'm in 500 to 599.
Yeah, I'm in I'm in the final bronze bracket. And like for me as someone who's not nearly as hardcore as you are, Greg, with trophies, it is kind of fun of like, oh, it'll be cool to like hit a milestone of like getting to the silver tier rather than just getting to like level eventually getting to level 20 in like 8 years or whatever, because I think I was at like level 15 before all of this or something like that. So
it's that crazy thing of like, yeah, like, oh man, okay, like I'm 515, I gotta get to 600 to switch to gold, which I'm not good. I don't know how fast. I haven't really popped a few platinums or anything. My easy pile of platinums that are waiting me for Radalika. But once that does start moving, there will be that thing of like, all right, guys, I'm doing a stream. I'm going to switch over to gold. And I want to see that icon change on PlayStation 5. I want to see it flip over.
Fun. But I'm also in silver. Me and you are in the same league.
Yeah, but you're not top. You're not tier 3 silver.
I mean,
right?
Yeah, but we're still both silver.
What are you? You're in the first one there. You're in the 300s. Is that what you're doing? You pulling a little 300 down?
All right, we're both silvers. I think that's the thing that matters.
You silver, but I have more platinums than you, Blessing. How does that work?
Because I've been playing more games, man.
Yeah,
I'm at 310, if I'm being honest. I'm barely silver.
Okay, yeah. So you snuck across there. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I still think that's such a huge chasm. Where I don't know how much more you could break it up, but it is that thing of like, man, I'm at 515. I have to get to 600. Okay, well, that'll just happen naturally, but it's a neat thing, and it is a cool. I'm excited to turn on my PlayStation 5 for the first time and see the icon updated there, and because right now I don't see that anywhere else, right? Like PlayStation, which we already talked about, obviously, but PlayStation 4, the PlayStation sites, you go to, like, they're not showing you the new avatar for it, so it's something neat to look for and cool, but it's not like I don't have a new fire underneath me that I'm like, fuck, I got to level. I'm going to go to 999 right now. Like, I got to get to platinum that quickly. Like, especially how I play a lot of PlayStation games. I'm in at 515. It's like, all right, well, I'm not going to stay up late, but I do think it's cool.
I've been on drugs for most of the last week.
Yeah, you have.
Were there rumors that like they're doing more things with trophies that came out? Like,
there's always the rumor of that.
I could have sworn I saw something that came out last week about how, like, yeah, for PS5 they're looking at level progression, or like trophy progression, I should say, on like individual trophies, or maybe I don't know, maybe I misread.
Oh no! I'm sorry. I know what you're talking about. I do know what you're talking about. We talked about it there. Originally, what it was, and maybe this isn't exactly what you're talking about, but I think it is. When we did this news report about the PlayStation trophy switchover or backwards compatibility, I forget which one it was, but one of them, the PlayStation blog France very briefly in their blog thing said, and on PlayStation 5, we're going to track your trophies. So like God of War, Find All the Ravens, it would tell you that you had 34 of 50 Ravens. And then that got deleted from the PlayStation blog France. So it's something that, again, the people who make the PlayStation 5 aren't stupid. The people who care about trophies at PlayStation aren't stupid. They've heard that time and time again, that's like what achievements has over PlayStation trophies for sure, is that it's awesome on your Xbox One to hit to the dashboard, look at your trophies, and see how close you are to whatever you're going for. And it sucks that isn't baked in on PlayStation 5. So yes, I would 100% assume that's happening for sure.
Is there anything else at this point that they could do to the trophy system to make you go, oh my God, they did it? Like, is there anything else you want from trophies?
I mean, leaderboards are cool. It's another thing of like, when I turn on the Xbox and I use it, which I've been doing a lot with the Series X, right? Like, it's always cool that when I get the little notifications that'll scroll by of like, oh man, you've earned 3 trophies this week, and that puts you here on the leaderboard with your friends. And this is where it's like, again, Xbox does such a good job of making it social and reminding you that it's social. Whereas, and PlayStation obviously has plenty of social features, but I feel like I'm always having to pull that on my own of going in and looking at the friends list and seeing what everybody's up to. And then even like wanting to look at PlayStation trophies and like trying to compare trophies when you go in there is such a slow, laborious process of it loading as well. Right. Like I think that if, the tea leaves I'm trying to read here, and again, I'm just hypothesizing that they're trying to make it more games focused, cut away the fat. It is more about you and how it goes. Like the live area on PlayStation is cool. I like that when I turn it on and seeing what's going on and who's popped what trophies. It sucks that it seems like they're always hidden trophies and there's all this other shit.
Yeah.
Like there's good ideas there, but it's so buried. And so making that, like we all love Twitter, making trophies and PlayStation activity more like a Twitter feed. Like even the way Xbox brings in the sidebar and like when you let it stand by and cycles through news and information about your game and your controller too. But there's a bunch of stuff like that. Is there anything that jumps to your mind?
I mean, if they replace platinum with orange and black, that's really the only thing. I just love those colors. It's my favorite color.
Was that question all the way just to set me up for that? Was that your whole plan?
No, not at all. I thought about it halfway through your talking. I was like, he's probably gonna ask me what I think, and
you hurt my.
I'm gonna have to have something in there.
You know what I mean?
I just love those colors.
Blessing,
Greg.
Let's hear a word from our sponsor. This episode of PS I Love You XOXO was brought to you by Upstart. During these economically turbulent times, everyone is looking for a way to feel more financially secure. So if you're still needlessly throwing money away every month at high-interest credit card debt, it's time you checked out Upstart, the revolutionary online lending platform that knows you're more than just a credit score. Now is the time to find out how low your Upstart rate can be and help pay off high-interest credit card debt. Unlike other lenders, Upstart can reward you based on your education and job history in the form of a smarter interest rate. You don't need a degree or diploma to apply, though. Of course, this would have helped me. I moved to San Francisco many, many years ago because I'm old and got a loan. And guess what? They didn't take any of this into account. So I had a bad interest rate. Upstart gets around that, though, and it lets you skip going to the bank because it's completely online. They offer loans from $1,000 to up to $50,000, so you can consolidate your debt into one easy fixed rate payment. Upstart makes it fast and simple to check your rate. Since it's just a soft pull, it won't affect your credit score. The hard pull happens if you accept your rate and proceed with your application. The best part, once your loan is approved and accepted, most people get their funds the very next business day. Over 400,000 people have used Upstart to pay off credit cards or meet their financial goals. Free yourself from the burden of high-interest credit card debt and get back to using your money your way with Upstart. See why Upstart has a 4.9 out of 5 rating on Trustpilot and hurry to upstart.com/PS to find out how low your Upstart rate can be. Checking your rate takes only a few minutes. That's upstart.com/PS. Your loan amount will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Not all applicants will qualify for the full amount. Again, upstart.com/PS. Blessing, what's happening with PlayStation picks?
I have quite a few games actually for PlayStation picks. Of course, this is where you highlight a few cool looking games coming to PSN this week. I want to start off with the big hitters. The big one being Ghost of Tsushima Legends and New Game Plus come out this Friday, October 16th. You all know Ghost of Tsushima Legends, the multiplayer mode. I'm going to read a small snippet from PlayStation blog. I didn't type this down in the doc, and so I'm like scrolling through. Oh, here it is.
Been there.
They write, as we announced in August, Ghost of Tsushima Legends is a brand new online cooperative multiplayer experience that will be a free update for all Ghost of Tsushima owners. A classic element of some of our favorite samurai films is warriors standing together, ready to fight as a team. In Ghost of Tsushima Legends, you can fight side by side with your friends, which is such an important part of filling that samurai fantasy in a whole new way. We're so excited to hear from everyone who teams up with their friends and jumps in. And of course, there's multiple ways to play that. You got the co-op mode where you can play with 2 people. Me and Greg are doing this Friday where we just play through it. I believe it's like a campaign, right?
Yeah, there's a story to it, and we're doing that. So you have co-op story and then 4-player stuff you can do, including a raid.
Yeah, and the raid comes through later down the line. You got different classes and stuff. You can choose the samurai, hunter, ronin, assassin, and I believe those are based off of like the mythical stories that you get in the actual single player campaign of Ghost of Tsushima. Greg, what's your hype level for that? Because when I was going through this today for the show and like looking back at what Ghost of Tsushima Legends is, I got very excited, like out of nowhere, like with the small hope that this ends up being bigger than what it seems like. Because right now, what it seems like is like a small, like, hey, let's throw this thing in for people to have fun with, which is awesome. But if this ends up with the idea of, hey, there's co-op content, 4-player content, a raid, part of me has my fingers crossed that this ends up being this like fan favorite thing that people go crazy about. And like I have that hope in me, and I'm very, very excited for this because of that.
Once we put the stream down for it and we're doing it on a Friday, I find myself getting more and more excited for it. And I think my excitement for not having it before, it doesn't make sense because I loved Ghost. So I mean, like having more of that and seeing what Sucker Punch has up their sleeve is exciting. And then this idea of playing with you and seeing what it is and how it all I'm super excited for it the closer we get. I think it's coming out at a good time where we're on that precipice of next gen, but we're not there. So to put out a game, one of the games that I would say it has an argument for game of the year, to put out a multiplayer mode that is going to be something so different, along with New Game Plus, along with the ability to pet dogs, along with this multiplayer thing lets you go into raids and stuff. Like, it's cool that we don't know more about it. And I'm excited on Friday to find out about it.
Yeah, this is one of those things too where Ghost of Tsushima, you mentioned game of the year. Ghost of Tsushima I'm not gonna say definitely, probably in my top 10 games of the year. I haven't really sat down and thought about my list, but it's probably in there. And I think this could be one of those things where if it's everything I want it to be, could just push it way up. Like I've been wanting an excuse to go back, aside from platinuming it, because I still have like a bunch of open world bloat that I have left in that game that I need to go through and clear out. Aside from that, I've been looking for a reason to pick Ghost of Tsushima back up because I really enjoyed my time with that game, and this seems like the perfect thing. The idea that I can go play this game again with my friends, and so shout out to that. Also for big hitters, NHL 21 comes out Tuesday, October 13th, and so today, if you're listening on the day this releases, tomorrow, if you're listening to this on Patreon right now, and then Torchlight 3 is also coming to PS4 on Tuesday, October 13th. Now, Greg, of course, we're in my favorite month, the month of October. The month of spookiness.
What did
Halloween,
I do to
all
you?
That good stuff.
What did I do to you that you want to take this from me?
I don't think you understand that when we did the episode where I didn't know orange and black were the Halloween colors, I got so much. Like I got so much shit.
I mean, you deserve it. You deserved
it. So many mentions on Twitter, and it was relentless. And so now I'm taking it back. I'm reclaiming it. It's mine now. October, my month. Orange and black, my colors.
I love it, Bless. You've always been the Halloween guy. I'll stand with you on that.
Barrett knows I'm always with Halloween. I love the candy.
I gotta stand
ghosts.
with my Donktober brother here.
That I understand.
Yeah.
October. But because of Halloween, because of October, I'm gonna do this thing this month and this month only. The PlayStation Picks Spooky Pick of the Week.
Woo!
Exactly. This week's is Remothered Broken Porcelain. This is coming to PS4 on Tuesday, October 13th. Barrett, I got a trailer for you if you can play that in the background. The description of the game goes like this. An emotional journey of horror, tragedy, and love. The award-winning survival horror series Remothered returns in the highly anticipated Remothered Broken Porcelain. Serving as a continuation of Remothered Tormented Fathers, relive events from the character's painful past during intense flashbacks and endure new unspeakable horrors in the present day that await them in the Ashman Inn, a mysterious and decaying tomb for its many secrets as well as dangers. This is one that I believe this game was announced last year at, I want to say, opening night live at Gamescom. And yeah, like it looks cool. Like it almost gives me like dark anthology vibes. Like Man of the Dawn type stuff when you look at it. I don't know if that's exactly what it is, but I don't know. Looks cool. And so if you're,
I think it looks really cool, actually. Yeah.
You can check it out.
I might actually. It wasn't on my radar. Now it is.
Yeah, it's out again Tuesday. So tomorrow, as of right now, today, if you're listening to this on Tuesday, and so if you're in for the spooky vibes, check that out.
Woo-hoo!
Some non-spooky picks. We got Cloudpunk coming to PS4 on Thursday, October 15th. A neon noir story in a rain-drenched cyberpunk metropolis. It's your first night on the job working for the Cloudpunk delivery service. 2 roles: don't miss a delivery and don't ask what's in the package. In this story-based exploration game, you'll meet a diverse range of characters, including androids, AI, and unscrupulous. Wait, hold on, let me say that again. Unscrupulous. I've never heard that word before. Unscrupulous humans. Yeah, what does that mean?
Like it's usually like it's like Han Solo. You know what I mean? Like great, they're gonna get it done with like these kind of like the
young, scrappy, and hungry.
Yeah, sure, but like they got that tinge to them, right? Of like they're not people you'd want to hang out with, but like they're like they're gonna get it done. They're gonna do the thing.
Well, you're hanging out with unscrupulous humans at every level of society. Everyone has a story, and in the course of one night in Novalis, everything will change. Andy Kelly at PC Gamer gave it an 80 when this game came out on PC and said, "I basically love it. Even if the story doesn't grab you, it's worth playing just to fly around that wonderful city. And it's nice playing a cyberpunk game where you're a regular working stiff, not a corporation toppling super hacker." So there you go. If you want some cyberpunk before cyberpunk, I really like the art style of this game. I'll say that. Like,
it looks really
might
cool.
check it out just for that.
Oh.
And then lastly, we got Raji and Ancient Epic coming out on PS4 on Thursday, October 15th. If you've heard of this game, that's because it was revealed during Nintendo Direct, I believe. I think it was one of their either from an indie direct or like their partner showcase. But I'm pretty sure it's actually an indie direct because this was like an indie darling that came out a little bit earlier this year.
It was one of the indie ones, yeah, because I remember it was one of the day and date ones. It was the same. It came out the same one as Hades. When Hades came, that was the same deal.
The description goes like this: Raji and Ancient Epic is an action-adventure game set in ancient India. A young girl named Raji has been chosen by the gods to stand against the demonic invasion of the human realm. Her destiny: to rescue her younger brother and face the demon lord Mahabalasura. Christian Donlin at Eurogamer recommends the game and says, "Raji's a shortish game, but a very rich one. The sheer scale of environments and the sense of adventure is properly intoxicating. More than anything, I was left with gratitude. This game gave me a window into another culture, and I want to know more. I want to keep learning. The game is generous and heartfelt and magical, and I think it's the beginning of something brilliant." I think I might actually check this game out because when I read Christian Donlin's write-up on Eurogamer, he mentioned the game being shortish, and I went on howlongtobeat.com to see like how short, and it was like around like I want to say 5 hours. Okay. And I've been looking for a game that I can play from front to back in like a decent amount of time because I feel like I've had trouble lately trying to fall into a game after beating Persona 5 Royal. I've been married to that game for so long, and so I've kind of been jumping back and forth between a million games, and nothing's been sticking with me. And so I think I might make it a thing in the coming weeks to try this out and see if I can play through it.
Yeah, people were really stoked with it. I remember when it came out, so that makes sense.
Yeah,
so I have it on Switch, but I haven't caught up to it.
PlayStation. So
there you go. That leads into what you've been playing, and there's one on here I'm surprised you didn't put in, and it's Foregone. I've been playing Foregone, Blessing. That's out tomorrow as well. Are you aware of Foregone?
I am very aware of Foregone. I actually did. I booted it up, and I played maybe about 30 minutes to an hour. I didn't add it because I feel like I didn't play enough to actually talk about it.
Sure.
But it's a really
Did you like
cool
what you
game.
got a taste of?
I did like what I got a taste of. I think I went into it expecting something different from what it was.
Ooh, okay.
I was expecting this game to just be Dead Cells.
Sure.
I absolutely adore Dead Cells. Dead Cells is probably one of my favorite indie games of the last generation. And so like, that's high hopes, but it doesn't, and you can probably tell me, I don't think it's a roguelite, right?
Yes, no, it isn't, but it has elements of it. So if you're not watching the show right now, ladies and gentlemen, which I always encourage you to do, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, if Barrett can play this on loop for me. What Foregone is a 2D action platformer, right? It actually was in the Kind of Funny Games showcase back in the E3 one that we did. So there was no E3 this year, the year before, 2019. It was in our Kind of Funny Games showcase there. And so the idea is, side scrolling, you're running around, you're beating stuff up. You have a melee weapon, you have a ranged weapon. You then have on the triggers 2 different abilities. The ones I just unlocked my third, but the ones I've been using as I play are the ability to heal whenever I want to, and then another one that's like a dash attack where I can dash through enemies and kill them or whatever. The idea of this one is like, it's not roguelike, like you start at the very beginning and you're like, oh, what the hell happened, right? You die, you go back to the HQ base or whatever, right? You have none of the money or you have gold currency that you're using at the blacksmith to upgrade weapons, your gunchucks, your long swords, your armor, your rings, your medallions. And then you have a blue currency, that name escapes me right now, that you can use to level up your abilities. And you find different things in this that unlock them. then skill trees for the weapons, so that when you're doing this, you're earning your health back, and you can. What I've been putting all mine into is this ability that when I damage people, I have a X% chance of tethering them, and the tether will give off damage, so I can jack up the percentage there on how I'm hurting them and how I'm tethering them and stuff like that. Anyways, though, to your point of roguelike or light, right? Like when you die and come back, you lose all the currency you have. But if you go and talk to like the one person in the thing, they can give you back half of what you had. And so then you can spend it on those things. So in there, you'd be like, oh, it's very roguelite, right? But while you're playing the game and you're accruing this, when you find the basically warp points that you can warp back to your base, or if you die where you'd start the game from again, you can, even before you die, go back to base and upgrade these things that way. So there is this narrative that you're dying and restarting there or whatever, being healed there, and using your stuff that way. So it's not a full blown roguelike.
Is it procedurally generated, or is it a set map?
That's something I was reading early access reviews about it, and somebody mentioned something about that, and I think in the way that it isn't. In my experience, it hasn't been, unless it's procedurally generated once I enter. But I'm pretty sure it's not at all. Because when you go through, there's a bit of Metroidvania in it, where you come to branching paths and go, and then if you hit your touchpad and go to your map, you see only what you've uncovered. And when you die and come back, it's the same map there that you're going through. But I don't think that it's doing.
And that's the thing that kind of threw me off, is I was expecting it to be that like a hard like roguelite where it is Dead Cells, where when you die everything's gone, and you're coming back to a different map. It did seem more on the Metroidvania side than on the roguelite side, which is cool because that makes it different. Two, the action and the pixel art are both beautiful. Really good. Like the pixel art is beautiful, like gorgeous, like Dead Cells level of gorgeous. And then the action is cool. There's like a weapon system where you can equip different types of weapons, and you mentioned like the different properties and stuff. Like all that stuff seems really awesome, and I kind of wanted when I booted up, I was more in the mood.
Like, you were expecting one thing,
yeah. I had the appetite for roguelite, and so when I realized that it seemed more Metroidvania-ish, that's when I was like, all right, I'll play this later. Like I want to play it still.
Totally.
But yeah.
A quick Google while we were talking, it is not procedurally generated, even if when you start a level. These are just set levels. You're going through a specific thing and playing it that way. And I'll tell you what, man, like looking at it, even I'd be like, oh, that's a cool game. Like I'm surprised by how much it's gotten me, because that's not a traditional Greg Miller game. Like the 2D action platformer is not my jam, but I feel that this one is not punishing, if that makes sense. Where I feel like so many of these kind of games you're going to fail quickly. Whereas this one, I feel like my runs through go on a long time, and having that, R2 ability to heal, and as I increase and level it up, right? Like it becomes a bit more, not chess, but I know that there's, the guy in there has the Gatling gun. That's the thing that fucks me up the most. So if I run in and I, power swipe a bunch of dudes, slide underneath them, attack them from behind, I can get that guy down, get out, hopefully, accrued more health to spend on myself. Same thing with like the bosses, where I think, when I think of games that turn me off, it is that idea of like pinpoint precision, memorize the boss pattern, and do it or don't, like Mega Man kind of thing, right? Where I'm like, oh, that's just not what I want out of a game. The first boss I ran into in this cleaned my clock the first time, but then it was like, okay, wait, don't overthink it, and wait for him to turn to me, then slide underneath him and attack him from behind. When he turns back, slide underneath, this is his attack, dodge and stuff. Like I'm having a great time with it, and I wasn't expecting. That's awesome. I didn't know what to expect from it, but I'm super into it. It's got a story on top of it. You're an arbiter or some shit. Doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. It's not really beating you over the head with it, and it doesn't need to. It's very much like, this is a fun game, and there's a bunch of fun weapons, and do you want to go through and, do exactly what I love doing in games of getting new gear and leveling that gear up, and you find better gear, and then you drop this, and then how do you want to go through your skill trees, and yada, yada, yada.
Now,
so,
I mentioned earlier in the show that I'm looking for first impressions for next week. And if nothing pops up that is exciting or that like would overtake this, would you want to do a foregone first impressions next week?
Sure, buddy. Yeah,
that sounds like a good time. I would like to watch you play this game and explain it to me.
Sure. I was looking. I have something else embargoed for next week, but I don't think it would be as good a first impression. But it could be if you want it to be. We can talk about that off the air because I can't.
Yeah, let's figure it out.
And I got other stuff coming.
Oh, Greg.
But what I do want to do, let's just say redacted. I do want to open up though the 2020 PSN Games
no.
Ranked. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we've been ranking all the PSN games that we randomly play for review or hang out with. You can keep up with the list at kindoffunny.com/104list. The idea is we can't pick the same game. We can't pick something that's AAA, and it shouldn't be something we're going to play anyway. As you know, Mr. Halloween, Blessing Adeoye Jr. has a few games on me. So I have to start getting my butt in gear and getting things on the board here. Otherwise, I got to deal with it. So right now, again, you can go over, like I said, kindoffunny.com/104list to see all 52 games we've ranked so far. But right now I got to decide where I want to put Foregone. The top 10 are as follows. Number 1, Manifold Garden. Number 2, Telling Lies. Number 3, Fall Guys. Number 4, John Wick Hex. Number 5, Streets of Rage 4. Number 6, Under Night In Birth. Number 7, Subliminal or Superliminal. Number 8, Hunt Down. Number 9, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. And number 10, Round Guard. I'll tell you what, Foregone is going high. I'm having quite a lot of fun with it. And so right away, I have to start going. I'm looking at John Wick Hex. I'm looking at Streets of Rage 4. I don't know if it goes above them or below them kind of thing. I think Streets of Rage 4 is a much more complete video game. I think this gameplay style speaks more to me, but I don't think I can sit here and say that it's a better pound for pound game than Streets of Rage 4. And again, this is also always our glancing first impression of these games, but it's a fun little list to make. So then the question is, from what you played, Blessing, it comes into your realm, because right now underneath Streets of Rage 4, which is where I think this should go, we have Under Night In Birth, and then Superliminal, and then Hunt Down. Where would you put, based on what you've played, I don't know anything about it, obviously Under Night, I don't know anything, and Superliminal wasn't my jam.
I mean, at the very least, I'd put it above Superliminal. Like from what I played of it and from you, what you said of it, like it seems like a more well-rounded experience. Like the pixel art is gorgeous. Like there's a few things in Superliminal that I didn't absolutely love, even though the whole game I did really enjoy. When I'm comparing it to Under Night In Birth, that's really when we get into the apples and oranges.
Funny, it's funny you'd fuck that up, because orange is of course a Halloween color, as I learned this episode.
Oh man, yeah, but Under Night In Birth. You know what? I'd say put it above Under Night In Birth.
There we go. Number 6.
Under Night In Birth is the one where I think it's a fantastic, like obviously like an excellent fighting game. But I always thought I'd stick with it more than I actually did. I played it for maybe that month and I didn't follow up with it, which makes me less inclined to put it above some of these great games.
I think that's, the biggest thing we can give any of these games in terms of, because these are all ones we touch on for a little bit and rank a little bit and have a fun little goofy segment with. But if you are drawn to come back to it, right? And that's the thing, is I look at even the games I've put on here, like John Wick Hex, I kept on my PlayStation for a long time and then I just deleted it. I was like, I like this game a lot, obviously, but like I'm just not getting back to it. Fall Guys, we all played a lot of. Telling Lies, I'd beaten beforehand and stuff. But even Round Guard, I was so high on, and now it's down to it's not in the top 10 anymore. And I think I only played it one more night after that. Like, it's very interesting what this, but it is one of those things that Foregone I want to play more tonight. Will I? I've learned never to say I will, because who the fuck knows what's actually going to happen. But I digress. There you go. Your new entry there is Foregone at number 6 on the list. The other thing I played this week was Yakuza Like a Dragon. Of course, I played it on the Xbox Series X, but it is coming to PlayStation 5, obviously at a later date. I'll tell you what, Bless, obviously there's a first impressions up of this, and I'd love you if y'all went and watch that and subscribe to the podcast. But very short version of, I had a super positive impression of it. I reviewed a bunch of Yakuzas at IGN, and then really as Yakuza started to get really popular here in the West, I kind of stopped playing them because I wasn't reviewing them anymore. And it kind of felt like, not that I was burned out, but I had played enough of them that I was like, I know what this is and I love it, but I really respect it. I don't need to play it again. Having a new character here, a new main character, a new cast of characters, the way the story was presented and the way this team of 4, I was there when they add the 4th character to the thing, plays off of each other, what you can do in the game, obviously the craziness that is the Yakuza open world, and then now this turn-based battle system they've included in it. So it is no longer just the brawler in the streets. Like, I walked away like, you know what? When I get this on Xbox Series X, I'm going to want to put a lot of time into it and see what's up. So it'll be interesting as obviously the launch lineup gets there, where it will fall in my actual hierarchy of what I need to play. But first impression was positive of it, and I'm looking forward to it.
So I've also actually played a little bit of Yakuza Like a Dragon. And I am digging the combat system. I was kind of questionable about it when I would see it in like trailers and stuff because traditionally Yakuza is more of a beat 'em up game, and I've not played much of like any of the Yakuza series. I've only dipped my toes into them, and so seeing this one, the battle system had me intrigued, but also like, all right, let's see what's going on here. And once I actually got into it, it was really cool to actually see how it played out. It was really fun. It reminded me a lot of Persona. And also, like, I want to give a shout out to the English voice acting, which, like, I really feel like really conveyed the goofiness and like the tone of Yakuza in ways that in ways that helped me kind of internalize it, that I didn't get before. Like, I reading subtitles, you're able to get a lot from it, and also with the Japanese performances, you're able to get quite a bit from it. But for me being an English speaker and hearing the voice acting and hearing them say some of the ridiculous stuff that actually happens in Yakuza, like that actually drilled it home to me in a way where I was like, okay, I get it. I'm actually digging this world now. And I don't know if I'm going to play it right off the bat on Xbox Series X just because there's so much happening this fall. But when it actually makes its way to PS5, I think I might actually give it a go. Like, it seems a really fun time.
What else have you been playing?
I've been bouncing back and forth between a lot of games. FIFA 21 came out, and I've been playing that. I go back with FIFA. Like, FIFA is probably my favorite sports, like hard sports franchise, like out of like the EA games and just sports games in general. If I don't count like a Rocket League or something like that, right? Like, FIFA is number one to me. I've played FIFA forever. It feels like I've missed out on the last couple of entries, and so I'm not necessarily have gotten to experience Volta Football, which is that's basically their street mode that they've added, where it is it's like 3 to 5 players on a team, and like you're going through, like, in FIFA 21 they have like their own they call it the debut, but it's like a short campaign mode that is associated with it, with like acting and or voice acting and like a story and all this stuff. But you're going through, you are playing these matches that are not in actual stadiums. They are happening in like the streets of Lagos or Tokyo, or basically like wherever, right? Like these cool locations. Depending on the rules you pick or what matches you get into, you might not have a goalkeeper. If you're doing like a 3v3 rush match, it is like the small goalposts and like 3 people, not like street rules kind of thing, and which is, I think, really cool. I think it's really phenomenal. And honestly, playing FIFA 21 so far, that's been how I spent most of my time playing the game, is through Volta Football, mainly because it's been a different way to play. Like, it's had me lean more towards dribbling and faster ball movement, which I've not, like, I feel like I don't have the ability to do as much in the regular FIFA matches, just because you kind of want to be more strategic and more slow paced and more thoughtful in terms of how you pass around the ball and in terms of how you play. And Volta Football, all that stuff is out the window, and it is all over the place. They encourage style, they encourage skill. You feel more at an advantage if you can just dribble like way better, which I think is just a really fun time. And I've been having a blast with it. Played through all the debut and enjoyed it. And I've been playing online too. Usually when I play FIFA, I play online seasons. I've been doing terrible for whatever reason. I don't know what it is about FIFA 21. I think part of it is that, and Greg, this is going to blow your mind.
Yeah.
Juventus isn't in the game.
Dude. And I've been saying since Juventus retired that, like, it's just going to be tough to see the Arsenal have any game without him.
Exactly. That's what I've been saying. Yeah, man. Like, Arsenal versus Juventus, you don't get to have that anymore.
Yeah.
But no, like, apparently, and I forget what game it is. I think it might be Pro Evolution that got the rights to use Juventus, which is a team in the game. But they're like my main team, and there's like a replacement team for them, or with like the same players, and so like you can still play as Cristiano Ronaldo and like that whole team through like a different name. I just don't like that. Like, I don't like that Pro Evo got the rights to
you ain't about that.
Yeah, because I can't use the kits. Like, they've been my team for like basically forever. Like, I used to use Juventus in like 2000. I think it was like 2005, where I had Del Piero and I was getting it in with Juventus. And I can't believe I can't use Juventus in the same way. It pisses me off.
Fucked up, man.
It's
you know
fucked
what I mean?
up. I don't like
these people sell out.
I don't like it. But yeah, I've been not doing well in online seasons and it's been killing me. But Volta Football, I've been having a blast of a time. So I've been playing that. I've been playing a lot of Rocket League. Ever since they went free to play, I booted up to check it out. With the whole crossplay thing and cross progression thing, and I've just not stopped playing. I've been having a blast with it.
You get any better at all since we last played?
Yeah. Barrett, I want to rematch with you
because
I have gotten better.
Are you ranked? Are you ranked, bro?
Yes. And here's the thing.
What rank are you?
I was in gold 1 is what I'll say. I got ranked down because I lost a couple matches, and now I'm talking about duos specifically, like the 2v2 mode. That's where I got ranked. I'm not ranked in the other modes.
Okay.
I was ranked gold and then I lost a couple matches, then it got booted down to silver, which pisses me off.
Well, when you go to 1v1, you and me, just be prepared to play against a gold 3 tier person in 1v1.
All right. Yo, let's do it, man. Right. Me and you. Let's go. Let's go, baby.
You can't touch him. You can't touch Barrett.
I'm making Barrett my what do they call it? Like a white whale or whatever, like the thing that I aspire to.
Yeah.
I'm making Barrett my goal. All right. I'm gonna beat you one day, Barrett. I'm gonna beat you.
Okay.
In Rocket League, to be clear. I'm not gonna beat Barrett's ass. I'm gonna beat you in Rocket League.
I mean, if it was a physical fight, you could probably beat my ass, to be honest.
I don't know, man. I'm really skinny. You seem like you got me in terms of like.
I've got you in weight, but like fucking like physical prowess, probably not.
I don't know. We can figure this out. We can see. Let's organize a boxing match.
Okay.
Rocket League still great. I love that. I love the cross progression. I've been switching back and forth from my PC to my PS4, and like I didn't really foresee this being the case. Like this is how I'd play Rocket League, but just having this convenience like at my door, like being able to use it like this, it's great. My one complaint
it's great.
My one complaint is that if I play like a bunch on my PlayStation 4 and like customize my car and do all that stuff, when I switch back to my PC, that means when I first boot up the game, I get like a bunch of pop-ups that are like, oh, you unlock this, this, and this, and this, meaning these are the things that you unlocked on my PS4. And if I want to equip those things, I have to equip them and redo the paint jobs and all that stuff on my PC
that was something that really sucked with like, I had a specific look with my cars before they went like the specific free-to-play Fortnite type of model and stuff. And then they reset all of that once they did all that. And I was like, fuck, I forget like what paint job I had and like what colors I had listed. Of course, I remember like what flags I had and stuff like that, but like
kind of funny, right?
Sure.
I got a GameSpot flag.
Yeah, I got a GameSpot flag.
I do have a kind of funny flag that I'm rocking, but yeah, I've been playing a lot of that, and then I've been dipping my toes in a lot of stuff. I booted up Bloodborne yesterday, and I know that'll make a lot of people happy. I'm now,
but then you're gonna make them so sad when you don't do anything with it. When you still don't beat it.
This is what I'll say. Bloodborne, out of all the games to take a break from, oh man, Bloodborne is a tough one. Because I came back to it and got my ass beat by many an NPC. And I'm now in the Forbidden Woods. And let me tell you, Bloodborne does not give a fuck if I've not played the game. They don't give a fuck if they don't give a fuck about anything. I literally took 2 steps into the Forbidden Woods, and I took the wrong step, and I got a tree branch basically just swung at me and killed me in one hit. Game is ruthless. I don't necessarily enjoy that aspect of the game. Like I like the game being hard. I don't like the game being cheap in some places where if you take the wrong step, you're fucked up. But you know, I guess that's part of the experience. I am halfway through the Forbidden Woods. I don't know how much I'm in the mood for Bloodborne, though. I might just keep booting it up just to see, just to keep experiencing that.
You're a glutton for punishment.
Suffering. Yeah, I'm my glutton for punishment. But yeah, and then also I've been playing a lot of games. Is what I've realized now because I keep naming games. 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim. I booted up just to check out, and man, is that an anime game where the teachers have large breasts and like it is basically like the anime stereotypes to a T. That said, I really appreciate the art style and the voice acting seems really good and the art seems really good. Like it seems like a really cool game.
How's the combat? Because I feel like the people who have actually been playing it, because I wanted to get into it but then never did, have said that like the combat after a bit feels a little too samey and kind of predictable.
It seems so. There's not much in the first few hours that I've been playing. There's not been much. Like the combat feels like a backdrop to tell the story. Like it's not really felt. When you see the trailers and stuff, it looks like it's very inaccessible. Like it seems like a strategy game.
Yeah.
It seems like it seems like it's going to be like a really hardcore game. And for all the instances that I've been put into combat, it seemed very straightforward and almost handholdy in a way that I kind of appreciate, because that's not necessarily my bag. I'm not a strategy game person. But it seems straightforward so far. But I feel like at a certain point, they're going to really throw me in the deep end and go, all right, now play a whole match of this game. And that's probably where things are going to go south. That said, from what I've experienced so far in the beginning hours, it seems like it's going to be a fun, or not even a fun time. It seems like it's going to be a straightforward time in combat. Like everything seems very understandable.
Cool.
Like it looks difficult, but once you actually get your hand on the controller, it's like all the stuff makes sense to me in a way where I'm like, all right, yeah, no, I can keep playing this game and I'll probably understand what's going on. That's what I've been playing.
Blessing, it's time for some trophies and chill. This is where you write in with your PlayStation trophy stories. They can be your profiles. They can be anything you want. Today, Mitch Krassen writes in and says, PSN MK79797. I am celebrating. I've officially hit 10,000 trophies this past week with style. A platinum in Predator Hunting Grounds. I do not play multiplayer really, so this is a huge achievement for me. Up next, Neo 2 Plat and trying GTA 5. Of course, we then go to psnprofiles.com/MK79797. Mitch himself here is a 501 in the new trophy leveling sport. 10,004 trophies now, 158 platinums. And let me tell you how jealous I am, Mitch, that you have this Predator Hunting Grounds trophy. This is one of those, you got to play a lot of this thing. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've paid attention, Blessing. I know you don't care about trophies. I know you didn't like Predator as much as I like Predator. I looked at it and I was like, maybe over time I'll get there. And like, I haven't gotten there. Like, you know, his Predator claim 1,000 fire team member trophies. Any claim, sure, but whatever, do that. There's so many things in there that are like these, just taking up, adding over, destroyed 250 explosive barrels, which again, like, you could grind, and I'm sure that's what Mitch had to do, but yikes. Good job almighty on that, Mitch. I wish I had the dedication time.
Mitch got the Fall Guys Platinum in like August. Like that's actually very impressive.
Yeah, Mitch has got a bunch of good ones on here, right? He's got Batman Arkham Knight. Shout out to Barrett. He's working on Arkham City, I see here. Yeah, Fall Guys, Control, Days Gone, Final Fantasy 15, Last of Us Part 2. What's the problem with that one? Just the Riddler trophies? The challenge rooms?
Riddler trophies are just like in general, bitch, in Arkham City, and then yeah, the challenge rooms are tough. Specific Asylum and City have tough to get trophies specifically for the challenge rooms. Night is easier because they had so many DLC added on to Night. So if the base game challenge rooms, you didn't have enough. Like stars to get like certain trophies, you could stack on top the DLC stuff. So I
Knight's the only Batman Platinum I have from this Arkham series because I hated Arkham Asylum challenge rooms in City, so I was happy to get away from that. But then you're all over. Sorry, go ahead.
Good luck with GTA 5. Also, like I don't think that is not an easy platinum. That's gonna take you some time.
Well, I think he's got the stuff though.
I mean, I also think he has the stuff because looking at these other platinums, these are some really good platinum trophies. Yeah. He has the Celeste Trap platinum, which I know that you can turn on assist mode and that'll help you get through that. But I like to think in my head that Mitch is an honest trophy getter and is gonna suffer through all the difficult modes in that game.
Has both Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal Platinum trophies.
Wow.
Respect.
That's the base game is I would say is like way harder to get the platinum.
Yeah, no joke there. Yeah. Great job, Mitch. Congratulations on 10,000 trophies. We're very proud of you. And congratulations on, I'm scrolling as fast as I can, but I looked deep in your trophies. Congratulations on being level 501. Something Blessing will never be able to do, no matter how much he tries to tell you he's a silver like us.
That's a silver though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all silver. We're all in the silver family.
It's not the same. It's
not
the same.
We're all in the silver family.
And yeah, I'm gonna get to silver with you, Greg, like really soon. Yeah, like we're all gonna be silver, man.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is PS I Love You XOXO for episode 41. Remember, the show doesn't stop here. You can go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Catch our exclusive post show. Get the show ad free. Write in with your questions, comments, concerns. Get the show bless up with Blessing at Aoya Jr. How's your mouth right now? Because you got a little bit of post show to do, but I just want to check in general.
No, I'm doing pretty good. I realized that pronouncing certain words was difficult. Like I really had to work on orange that one time, and I think that was more so I can't move my mouth in certain ways.
Sure.
But I'm not hurting or anything. I'm feeling good.
Okay, well, we're not going to push you too hard. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, PS I Love You, XOXO posts every Tuesday. YouTube.com/kindoffunnygames, roosterteeth.com, podcast services around the globe. No matter where you get the show, thank you for your support. Consider going to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames and going a bit further where you can get the post show we're about to do. But until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.